Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today is an Emmy Award-winning prosthetic makeup artist and founder of MastersFX. You've seen his incredible work in films including Slither, Child's Play, and Final Destination Bloodlines, and his upcoming film, Pinocchio Unstrung, hits theaters July 24th. I am so excited to welcome the iconic Todd Masters. Todd, how are you doing today?
Hey man, how's it going? Nice
Good,
to see you
good.
again.
Nice to see you too. We had such a fun weekend at Monsterpalooza together.
Oh, it was crazy, right? Phew. Yeah, that was pretty solid. And Pinocchio was there for much of it. We went pub crawling on like the end of it, which for me was more like pub dragging because I had to drag the puppet around. And he comes in a really heavy box. And it was just like, I had to strike him from the museum and then drag him for several blocks.
Oh my
And then they're like,
gosh.
oh, yeah, it's up there. And it's like this long, cut to low angle stairs going up with
Mm.
this 50-pound box.
Well, it was really fun. I really enjoyed getting to hang out with you and Pinocchio and Andrew. Just such a fun weekend, and what a cool way to kick off, the marketing campaign for Pinocchio Unstrung with a bunch of horror fans at a horror
Yeah.
convention in Pasadena. So
Yeah.
cool.
It was so great to see Vince and Caroline and Stu and Nicole and everybody just kind of came to the event. And it's not like the crew really hangs out much together. And Vince and Caroline flew over from the UK. Stu and Nicole are from Vegas. I was from Vancouver. So it was kind of a great moment to get everybody together and go like, holy shit, what have we done?
Yeah, it's so nice to see everyone in person because, like you said, we're all very spread out. So when we can all get together in person, it's a lot of fun.
Right, right. And Monsterpalooza is just, I think you said it's the best event of the year.
Yeah.
Next to Son of Monsterpalooza, of course, which you got to go to.
Yeah, I
Uh,
gotta
but
go. I
that,
gotta go.
but that was great. We did a panel with all those people I just mentioned, and Andrew, our composer. Andrew, I think he's out of LA, so he didn't have to come too far, but he brought this freaking
Yeah.
massive instrument that he had built, which was really cool and kind of spoke of, the practicalness of the movie. He built this gigantic triangle out of driftwood parts, and he had all these holes drilled into him. And in our panel, he got up and started playing it, and it was like, wow, that's really original and so cool to have organic practical sounds for a practical movie like Pinocchio Unstrung. So that was a real deep cut of him to do that, to bring the instrument, and then of course to drink beers with us afterwards was good too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I gotta ask, how did you get involved with Pinocchio Unstrung? And also, what was your reaction when you were tasked with creating, your own spin on such a cultural icon?
Well, the guys initially contacted me, and frankly, I didn't really quite know the linkage at first. I thought it was through friends of ours because we had a couple mutual friends. But it turns out no. I guess, Scott and Reese had seen Child's Play and really wanted to do a puppet movie, which I thought was kind of cool. And these guys have been kind of tearing up the box office with their films, so I was definitely aware of them, and I was sort of interested in trying to figure out, how they make all this for literally a dime. And I love their script too. I thought their script was great. Just the fact that he comes becomes a real boy by removing parts of other people, I thought was pretty clever. And of course, for a puppet maker, the storyline of Pinocchio is epic. It's almost like someone asking us to do the Wizard of Oz or something, of a caliber of a legend that we've grown up with. We've obviously seen other productions of these titles. And, here we are, puppet makers. It's kind of like, it's almost like a Frankenstein story for us. And so we got really excited about it. Um, what one thing that really got us going was Reese had mentioned to me early on that he hadn't done anything like this before, which surprised me because everything they do is rubber this or that,
Uh,
but they're typically prosthetics. And here's non-animated puppets that we want to literally be the star of the show. And it's definitely doable. I mean, it's definitely a fun way to make movies, but you got to plan ahead and you have to have a great crew. Like they really got lucky with some amazing people,
yeah.
and building complicated shots was actually fun rather than being stressful.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it was great. So yeah, they were a great group to kind of get into it with and design shots and all that. So it was strangely fun at many times. There were
Oh, that
certainly
is
times that
awesome.
weren't, but
Oh, no. But yeah, I love Scott and Reese. I've been friends with them, I guess, going on like 3 years now. It's crazy how
oh,
fast
really? Okay.
time flies. Yeah, I've been moderating all the Q&As for all their films when they come to
Nice.
LA for like Blood and Honey 2 and Bambi and Peter Pan. So
Oh, cool.
very
That's
exciting.
excellent.
And I just love getting to hear about the practical parts of this because so many movies now, just rely on shortcuts. I'll say that. I'll say shortcuts. And to me, as a horror fan, it's so nice to get to see time and effort and energy put into creating physical things you can touch and feel. And I interviewed Peter yesterday, and he was talking about how, as an actor, it's so nice to have the puppet to work against instead of a
Right?
tennis ball or an
Yeah.
empty chair. So it's just so refreshing, and I can't wait for people to see this movie.
Well, it's interesting you say that because we actually hear it a lot, and it seems like it's starting to filter out to other people making films as well. But I mean, like puppets, whatever level of puppet you can get on camera, it really does help the performer, helps the director. They can actually block a shot. I mean, have you ever tried to block a shot with a tennis ball? I mean, it doesn't work so well. Obviously, the more complicated the puppet, like Pinocchio, is really complicated. The more performance and more believable, performance you'll get with other actors, which is really cool. I mean, this was kind of a big risk for the guys to go for it like this. I mean, Pinocchio is sort of the lead character in the
Mm,
film. And for them to just kind of come to us and say, hey, help us do this and getting us all to work together, across the ocean. And
yeah.
then finally, when we showed up, for it to just kind of smoothly zipper together was astonishing, frankly.
Oh,
So it's really cool. And the other thing I've been noticing, I mean, it's not just Pinocchio that's kind of revisiting practicalness. I mean, there's been a lot of filmmakers like Guillermo del Toro and Chris
yes.
Nolan and Tim Burton and so on, as Jim Cameron, that have legendarily, used practical effects. A lot of them have gotten really clever with enhancing with visual effects, but I mean, we also have, Coogler who did Sinners, a lot of practical effects in that. We have Boots Riley. I mean, he uses
Hmm.
a ton of practical effects. And we just had Masters of the Universe come out.
Yes.
There's quite a bit of practical effects in that.
Mhm.
Didn't really help him at the box office, but I mean,
Yeah.
still, but Scary Movie also has a lot of
Yes.
practical effects. So we're starting to see people understand, like we've gone through the whole world of the button push for everything. People are realizing it's not necessarily the best way to do it for either cost or for quality. I mean,
Right.
I think most of the smart audience members kind of know, and they actually are expecting more
Mm.
from studios. If they're going to pay that big bucks, they want to see things that they can't do on their phone.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. Well, it was incredible to get to see the Pinocchio puppet in person up close over the weekend. And I just was like blown away by the details, getting to see it, face to face. What can you tell me about that specific puppet that I saw as far as its like makeup and its composition?
well, so the puppet that we had in the Monsterpalooza museum this weekend was actually assembled specifically for that. It does use some screen used parts, like the whole body, arms, and legs were all the screen used Hero Puppet number two. we had pushed to bring like the full animatronic, but both puppets came back in a severe need of help after the shoot. I mean, we kicked their asses for that shoot. So they weren't 100%. One of them, in fact, was broken. And so people had asked, well, why can't you just bring, the animatronic and just don't turn it on? But, we're up here in Canada right now, and border doesn't really like these things that look like little bombs
Yeah.
going over the border if you can't turn them on and demo it. So we couldn't do that. We really wanted to because the puppet, if once we get it tuned up, it's amazing how nuanced it is.
Mhm.
It'd actually be really amazing if we can get Martin back because he was such a huge component for bringing that guy to life. We had so many amazing puppeteers on this that sort of came out of the ether. Some of them came out of other movies that these
Oh,
guys have done. I think you
yeah.
know that,
Mm.
and it was just uncanny. We had every time you build practical effects, it's always a race against the clock and how much stuff can we get done in time. And in this case, how much shit we could cram into this like grapefruit sized head. And when we finally blasted off to go over there, we had our first hero puppet with us. We had connections with Reese and a couple others at that point, but not like we were talking to a group of puppeteers that we were going to go meet and just hand this thing over. We
Right.
didn't know how that was going to go. And we had some pretty complicated radios that we were using. We got these newfangled things that were way complicated. So we're like, oh shit, this could be a disaster. And we get over there and we group up. There's Tigger,
Yep.
there was who else? There, I don't watch a lot of these movies, but everybody's telling me that there's like Peter Pan's this
Hmm.
guy and all that, and they're just lovely people. But in these films, they're just terrors. And we give them the radios, and it didn't take long for Martin to kind of start really loosening up, and he started doing a voice and this complicated joystick control system, which he had never seen before. And he started playing it like, he had been playing that guitar for decades. It was
Wow.
phenomenal how good it was. And just over a short period of time, he had started becoming that character.
Mm.
And that was something to behold. We were pretty amazed by that. So by the time we really got up to speed, we had other people on arms and legs, and we had a little puppet unit that shot on. We were so cheap. We didn't have green screen. We had a green bed sheet.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it was hilarious. At one point, I had asked, "Hey, where's the green screen?" And someone brought over this little Ziploc, like a lunch bag, with a folded green sheet in it. And I'm like, what is that? Is that
Oh
like a
my gosh.
sandwich of green? I mean, what is that? And they pull it out, and it's obviously a green bed sheet, but it was like a queen. And I'm like, can we not get at least a king size?
Oh, I love that. That's
Oh, it
so
was
funny.
hilarious. The ingenuity and the super low budgetness of it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh, I
we
love
had a
that
ton of
story.
fun, and it all got dealt with by good talent. So that's kind of the story there.
Yeah, no, Martin is insanely talented. He's Peter Pan
Crazy.
in Neverland Nightmare, and Lewis, you mentioned, he plays Tigger. Both of them are so talented. So to hear, they got to help bring Pinocchio to life behind the scenes, that's so cool that, that got to happen.
Yeah, and there was even, other people on set that really got into it that became like real. I mean, they're just because they were able to stop and focus, and I think
Mm,
kind of because they didn't want to do the other side of their job.
mm.
We had two PAs, Ben and Max, who also were there a lot, puppeteering some lead stuff. And they just did it like between runs or maybe preparing breakfast. It was really funny. It was
Oh, how
like,
fun.
hey, you guys got a second? We got to do a shot. And they would just jump in and just do these phenomenal performances. And so
Oh,
we really got lucky with some great people. And hopefully they're hearing this and
yes.
we can give them a good salute.
Yes. Oh, that is so cool. So you mentioned Pinocchio Hero Puppet 2. How many Pinocchios total did you guys construct?
We did two hero puppets, we called them A and B or one and two, whatever. We eventually came up with names for some of these, just because, it's boring just to say one and two or whatever. But those were pretty identical. They both had similar features since we kind of printed out all the animatronics, so we could make repeats.
Mhm.
Um, the first one went over with me and Alex Roseberry, who we were kind of the first wave of Pinocchio tiers. And then about a week and change later, Josh, our animatronic supervisor, and Kiana, our lead artist, they came over with the second one. Um, we also had Stunty. Stunty was just a non-animatronic. Just had a kind of a head that didn't move, but had a lot of spots for rods and all that.
Mm.
So Stunty became probably the most abused puppet because he got used everywhere, and we would block out shots with Stunty usually. Our first AD, Eric, he would grab it and just run around the set with it just so Reese and team could imagine, Richard's here,
Mhm.
Cameron's over there, and start working the shots out. And we threw that one downstairs. I mean, we did everything to the stunty. It's still with us, strangely, somewhere in one of the guys' places over in the UK, but
Oh.
it was the one that went to Brussels for the
Oh,
BIFFF, and it kind of
awesome.
came back in a bunch of pieces. It kind of finally died on everybody. And then we
Ah,
also had, what do we call it? Lighty.
oh.
Lighty was not light at all, actually, one of the heavier ones, because we didn't want any foam in this one because we thought we might use it a bunch in the pool.
Mm.
And we really designed it to give to the camera department to set up shots with. We did some of that, but it was usually like Stunty was so friendly to use. That one just was everywhere. We're constantly moving and shoving it and things, and then of course rapping and traveling all over the UK. We did a lot of traveling on this show, so a lot of packing up of puppets and shoving them into some PA's BMW or something like that. I was always worried that we were going to lose a Pinocchio or something.
That
But
is
and
so
then
fun.
we right before we flew out to London to start shooting, um, we're all like, "Well, shit, Geppetto needs stuff for his table. He needs
Oh
he needs like
yeah.
other projects." And so we took some original prototypes, quickly painted them. I made I made a couple out of just crap around the shop. We called that one shitty and cruddy, I think. And then anyway, we made a bunch of just random things that you'll see in the background on Geppetto's table, and don't look too carefully because they literally are shitty and cruddy. So
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. No, I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for Shitty and Cruddy. I can't wait to see them when
okay,
when
yeah.
I see this movie in theaters.
Well,
Uh,
Kiana, when she started trying to figure out what Pinocchio's face was like, instead of drawing, we just said, well, let's just start sculpting stuff,
yeah.
And so she first started doing these small little, like baseball size maquettes. Maquettes are like small sculpture designing tools. And then we're like, well, I mean, it's not going to take much longer to go a little bigger. So let's just start going a little bigger just in case we love one. And she made a couple of those that I think became shitty and cruddy. We molded them anyway and just threw them on these horrible bodies. And so you'll get a glimpse, but please don't look too carefully.
Oh, I love that. You mentioned during the panel at Monsterpalooza that there's a scene, I think we get a quick glimpse of it in the trailer, that involves a stabbing with Pinocchio's nose. Would you say that was the hardest scene to pull off when filming?
Um, well, every day was sort of the hardest day. I mean, this is sort of the fun of it. I mean, so Reese and I did like a series of scribble boards. He would he was over in London, I was over here, and we were trying to develop the movie. Excuse me, got a cricket in my mouth. Um, we were trying to develop the story, meaning the scenes and how he would attack and stuff like that. But we wanted to do it sort of together so we could uh guide he and some others, like, make some shots that are sort of puppet friendly, like as I am here, sort of waist up. This is pretty puppet friendly because you could stick a hand up and like
Yeah.
that stuff, and just kind of how to do all that. So when it came to stuff like the shower, I should dig these out because they're pretty funny scribble boards. The way it worked is he would do some really rudimentary drawings, and I actually encouraged him to just, I don't care if it's Mona Lisa or anything, we're not going to show this. Let's just communicate with composition and stick figures or whatever you need. And then I would kind of take that and kind of regurgitate it back to him, like, hey, here are these shots, but with some notes kind of worked into the composition, just for setup reasons. And it started becoming kind of this really cool way to um, enhance certain scenes. And I think I would see, whenever you take a script and you start visualizing it, whether it's in a rehearsal or whether it's drawing shots out, whatever it is, take your
Mhm.
script and start figuring out what it looks like, because that's really what the gig is, right? It's moving pictures. So whenever we do that, we find like little nuggets that we could work into the narrative that makes it kind of fun and exciting. And so we'd kind of kick these back and forth. Like, there's a whole bunch of walking around for Pinocchio in the hospital. And I'm like, he doesn't really do a lot of walking on his own. I mean, those are going to be really complicated shots. We can do it, but how about he gets around like on a gurney? So
Mhm.
we had him jump on a gurney and zip off, and it's like, that's cool. It looks great. And so we had a lot of this back and forth. And so when it came to the shower, um, I had it. I think I even drew a really dirty one, like she falls on his nose, and it's like,
Oh,
okay, this is going to get a triple X.
yeah.
And it was Reese that did the foot thing, and he kind of did it the morning we shot it, which was really
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
And we didn't prep anything. I mean, the prosthetic studio prepped a foot,
Mhm.
so the prosthetic studios, really great people over in Leeds. They did all the bloody gore and all the really cool body parts. We did the puppet, and we were like peanut butter and jelly, which was fun.
Oh.
They were fantastic. Our team was really great, and we just had fun. And so they came in with his foot, and I'm like, what are we gonna do with that? Oh shit, really? And it's like in like big movies, we would have probably rigged it and it would have taken forever to shoot. Here we're just like going for it. And Reese is like, well, we got to have the puppet attached to her foot with the nose sticking out of it. How do we do that? And we're like, fuck if we know. We
Oh
usually
my
prep this
gosh.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
We'd probably make like a little sleeve for her foot, like a rigid piece. And we were literally at like 4 in the morning, because we were shooting this late at night, rigging Carolina's foot up with monofilament. And it was only fortunately for a few shots, and we got it. And I'm like, damn, this is just crazy how we're doing all these kind of effects. They look great,
Mhm.
but it's amazing that we're doing so much in like 2 days. We were 2 days at that house, and we were everywhere in that house with a lot of gags. So it's kind of fun to see it kind of come together like that. It was just everybody passionate about it, working hard, eating great food. Oh, wait a minute, not that part. Uh,
That's so cool though.
but we all had a blast kind of pulling it together. And I think when you see all these sequences, you're going to go, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I can't wait to see what you guys came up with. Before we go, I have to ask you about one of my favorite movies that you worked on. When I was going through your IMDb, because I wanted to make sure that I gave a proper introduction for you, because I'm such a fan of your career and your work.
Thanks.
One that stood out to me that I love is White Chicks. I still quote that movie to this day. I just think it's like one of the funniest movies of all time. Can you tell me a little bit about working with the Wayans brothers on White Chicks?
Oh, I love those guys. They just had a big successful weekend too,
Yes.
with Scary Movie 72. I forgot. Um, so I've bumped into a few times, obviously White Chicks, and we've talked about a zillion other projects, even Scary Movie, whatever the current one is. We ended up not doing it, but we wanted to. And on White Chicks, those guys were going through some sort of, they're actors, so they're and producers and writers and
Yeah.
brothers and kind of everything. And they were doing this macrobiotic diet, and they were eating this just most random rabbit food all the time just to kind of slim down and look all Hollywood. Um, but they were also farting a lot.
Oh
And
no.
so every time you went into the White Chicks set, it was just like, whoa, it's like you're hanging around the White House or something.
Oh my gosh.
It was really funny, and it was just, those guys didn't care. They were the star. Who's going to complain?
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun to make. We shot it in Vancouver. What was that, 2008, maybe
I feel like
2009?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
around that time.
and they were a ton of fun. Boy, that's amazing that it's that far ago.
Yeah.
And those prosthetics that Greg Kahneman team made were as good in person as they are on screen, if not better, actually. The way, since those guys were so lean, they could really pull off the blondie California girl look. It was amazing. It was just
Uh,
amazing to watch those guys slip into that.
I love that movie so much. You mentioned Scary Movie, number one at the box office this weekend. I don't want to
Yeah.
give away too much, but in the film, there is a little hint of what might come next with White Chicks, maybe a little
Oh,
nod at
really?
a White Chicks too. Is that something you would be interested in returning to the world of White Chicks?
Oh, I love those guys. I would love to, even with their smelly farts, I would love to work with them. I can bring my own smelly farts, and we could do all sorts of fun together, sure. We did,
I would love that.
what was it? Crap, I can't even remember what. There was a scary movie three or
Mhm.
four we did, but it was with the other group, Zucker and all that. And a lot of that, I mean, those movies are wild to work on. Didn't, not so much on this recent one, but on the one I did many years ago, they redid the whole ending that we had really spent a lot of time on and replaced it with some Matrix thing because the
Mm.
Matrix was out right at that point. So they spent
Oh,
a lot of money just like throwing away film and redoing it.
oh my
That
gosh.
wasn't the way. That wasn't the Wayans. Wayans are pretty smart filmmakers.
Yeah,
This
they are
was,
incredible.
yeah,
I
they're
just
really great.
love them so much. I did want to ask because you've done so many different creatures and characters, and is there one thing when you look back on your career that you're most proud of? Like, I can't believe I pulled that off, or I can't believe, that's my creation that you get to see on screen.
It's interesting. I mean, it's funny to reflect back on all the characters that we've created and how they impact people and sell burgers or whatever the hell they do. Sell tires. I mean, we've done so many different characters, scare the hell out of you. So I, I like that. I like, like recently we have Widow's Bay out and we've got a couple characters walking around in that, and people are really responding to that. And that's really fun to kind of design something in a way that you can get a hit record with, kind of thing. It's like people that know how to write a hit song.
Mhm.
It's a little the same, like in terms of designing characters. You want to, hit similar levels. Not to be too on the nose here, but I got to say Pinocchio is really cool.
Yeah.
We had such a great team designing and creating this character. He has an appeal that I haven't seen in a while. Like people just respond to his look, and I really do think he's going to be one of the boys of summer 2026.
Yes. Yes. Everybody be sure to go check out Pinocchio Unstrung in theaters July 24th. Todd, thank you so much for being here. In the meantime, where's a good place for people to come and follow you and keep up with all your other projects and other events you have going on?
Probably the best one is my Instagram, which is masters.todd. That's where I personally post stuff and talk to fans and do all that. Our website is mastersfx.com. My lawyer's email, no. I think that's probably good.
Well, thank you so much, Todd. It was very good to see you, and hopefully we cross paths again very soon.
I hope so. We'll hang out in a pub with Pinocchio, I think.
Yes. Bye,
Okay.
Todd.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.